revision is going to be carried. So today onwards, you have pre-mid examinations in the afternoon session. So we are going to revise unit 4, that is stereochemistry, reaction mechanism, and synthesis of drug molecules. Okay, so now let us go and discuss about these topics. Stereochemistry is nothing but three-dimensional arrangement of functional groups around the carbon atom. What is the orientation of functional groups around the carbon atom is clearly mentioned by this stereochemistry. Okay, so by changing the arrangement of functional groups, there is a change in their properties are possible. That's the reason why it's very essential to monitor the position of functional groups around the carbon atom, which is given by a special branch called stereochemistry. Okay, so stereo stands for regular three-dimensional arrangement, three-dimensionality that is purely given by different kind of arrangement, right? So among all well-known and three-dimensional arrangement is given by this wedge projection model, where two of the atoms are laying within the plane and one of the atom towards the viewer, another atom is away from the viewer, which is represented in three-dimensional way. So this is the somewhat exact structure for three-dimensional arrangement of atoms with respect to the central carbon atoms. Okay, so here in case of this three-dimensional structure, whatever bonds present within the plane are indicated with normal covalent bond. Line bonds will be there. So the bond which is towards the viewer is given by thick line. This is called wedge bond, and the dotted line is indicating the group which is away from the viewer, right? So this is about the arrangement of functional groups around the carbon atom, called a wedge projection model. Now, let us see what is meant by Fischer projection. Fischer projection is nothing but arranging all the functional groups in two-dimensional way. How we are representing on the paper, how we are representing on the screen. In this just the same way, if any molecule is represented, that is called a 2D formula, two-dimensional arrangement. Okay, so when we are taking this molecule, here these two carbons, second and third carbons are vertically arranged, and CH3C. So here the carbon which bisected is denoted as a carbon atom. So wherever two lines are intersecting, that is taken as the carbon. If four different groups are present around that, that is considered as a chiral carbon atom. Here in the central part, we have the carbon above, CH3 is there. Here COOH will be there, and hydrogen OH functional group. So this is about the Fischer projection, Fischer representation of that two-dimensional arrangement of the molecule, right? Now we are going to discuss about the concept called isomerism. Isomerism is the phenomenon where all the chemical structures will be differed, but there is a similar molecular formula. If any compounds having similar molecular formula but existing in various chemical structures is known as isomerism. Here isomerism is of basically two types. Isomerism is of basically two types: structural isomerism and stereoisomerism. Structural isomerism stands for where molecular formula remains same, but the structure of the compound will be differed. These are also known as, alternatively known as, constitutional isomers. Whereas stereoisomer stands for whenever we are taking the molecule of same molecular formula, but carbon linkage will be varied. That means spatial orientation. Stereo stands for spatial orientation. Spatial orientation of functional groups will be varied. Hence, we can say it is the stereoisomerism. So it is alternatively known as spatial isomerism. Okay. So here isomerism stands for molecular formula remains same, but properties of the molecule and arrangement of the functional group, if varied, those are said to be isomers. Okay, they are broadly classified into structural and even stereoisomers. Structural isomers are further categorized into chain isomers, positional isomers, functional isomers, tautomerism, metamerism, ring chain isomerism. All these are the kind of structural isomers. The definition of structural isomerism is depicted as structure isomers differs in connectivity to the central atom. Okay, so connectivity will be varied, structural position will be varied. So that is called structural isomerism. First is about chain isomerism. Molecular formula remains same, but chain length will be varied. Here is the simplest example. I'm taking N-pentane. So it is constituted by C5H11. 5 carbons, 12 hydrogens are present. If all 5 carbons are laying on the single line, that is called N-pentane. Normal pentane without any branching. All carbon atoms are in the same line. So there is no any branching is there. All are in the same line. And the second is about isopentane, where we can change the chain length. So skeletal chain will reduce to 4 carbons and one of the carbon became side chain. One of the carbon became the side chain. Hence, we can say there is a difference in the chain length. Here initially 5 carbon chain length is there. In the second compound, 4 carbon chain length is there, where you can find decrease in the chain length, which is the second type of isomer. Whereas third type of isomer is we can change the chain length even to shorter one by increasing branching. What happens around the carbon? You can find 4 methyl groups. So entire carbon chain length will be 3 carbons only, and remaining 2 carbons became side branches. Now it is the kind of third isomer which is known as neopentane. N-pentane is of 5 carbon chain. Isopentane is of 4 carbon chain with 1 methyl branching, and neopentane will be of 3 carbon chain with 2 methyl side chains. This is a kind of chain isomerism. Molecular formula will be same, but chain branching will be differed, right? Now let us move on to second type of structural isomerism called positional. When we are shifting functional group, from one position to another, though there is a relationship between positional isomerism. Whenever, so C3H7Cl molecular formula was taken, there is a possibility of chloro group at first carbon, and that chloro is also shifted to second carbon. So even we are shifting to 1 to 2, what happens? Molecular formula remains same, but only the position of chloro group will be changed from first position to second position. This is called 1-chloropropane, and this is known as 2-chloropropane. And these two are said to be positional isomers. Isomers which differs in the position of functional group are known as positional isomers. Now let us move on to third type of isomerism. Third type of isomerism called functional isomerism. Functional isomerism, where functional groups of different functional groups are having similar molecular formula. If we are considering aldehyde and ketone, aldehyde is of one functional group CHO, ketone is of another functional group RC double bond OR. These two are having different functional groups, but molecular formula remains same. This type of isomerism is known as functional, where aldehyde is a functional isomer of ketone. Hydroxy compound is the functional isomer of ether. Whenever ethyl alcohol and dimethyl ether consider, both are constituted by C2H6O formula only. But in both the cases, two different functional groups are there. This relation is known as functional isomerism. Right. Now let us move on to another type called metamerism. Metamerism is mainly arised due to presence of alkyl chains on the each side. Okay. So when we are changing alkyl side chain length on the central functional group is known as a metamerism. It is simply represented by the molecular formula C4H10O. It is a typical example for metamerism, where oxygen linked with propyl one side methyl in either side, it is of one isomer. Whenever oxygen is connected with two ethyl groups on both sides, it is known as another metamer. Okay, so both isomer constituted by C4H10O only, but difference in the linkage of alkyl groups you can observe here. In one of the isomer, one side we have 3 alkyl, 3 carbon chain, second side 1 carbon chain is there. In the second compound, oxygen surrounded by 2 carbon chain length on each side. Hence, we can say these two isomers are known as metamers. These two are known as metamers. Next is about tautomerism. Tautomerism is a kind of isomerism which is arised due to hydride transfer. 1,3 hydride transfer is possible. Whenever ketone was taken, this ketone is a tautomer of enolic form. Enol stands for double bonded compound having hydroxy functional group also. This is called enolic form. Keto-enol tautomerism is arised due to shifting of hydrogen from one position to third position. This is called 1,3 shift, and because of that, keto is converted into enolic. There is always dynamic equilibrium. So vice versa reactions are possible, right? So this is a kind of tautomerism. Now let us move on to another called ring chain isomerism. Ring chain isomerism stands for molecular formula remains same, that is C4H8 I am considering for example. So in case of this one, there is a possibility of open chain molecule, cyclic molecule and another cyclic molecule also. Okay, molecular formula remains same, but variation in that chain and ring, those are known as ring chain isomers. One of the isomer may exist in open chain model, another isomer existing in cyclic model. Open chain model having double bond with is functional isomer of cyclic compound. Alkenes are the ring chain isomers of cyclic compounds. Okay, it is a typical example. We are taking one butene where one of the double bond is there. All the carbons are laying on the open chain format. When it is converted into cyclic form, again molecular formula will be C4H8 only, but it is a ring type of structure, 4-membered ring. It also represented in another kind of molecular formula and another kind of structural formula like a 3-membered ring with one branching. In these 3 forms, molecule is existing where you can find ring and chain kind of isomers. Hence, it is the kind of ring chain isomerism. Now, by this, structural isomerism is entirely completed. It is of chain isomerism, positional isomerism, and next is about functional, and next is about metamerism and tautomerism, ring chain isomerism. So these are the types of structural isomerism. After this, we have the next topic called stereoisomerism, where arrangement of functional group will be varied, orientation of the functional group will be varied so that their structural properties also changes. This is called stereo or space isomerism. This is known as stereo or space isomerism. Okay, so stereo or space isomerism is broadly classified into 2 types. One is called geometrical, second is known as optical isomerism. Geometrical isomerism is arised due to restricted carbon-carbon double bond rotation. Whenever carbon-carbon double bond is present, it is not possible to shift or twist the bond. So 2 bonds when present, it becomes very strong and so rotation may not be possible. In that case, geometrical isomerism is generated. A simplest example for geometrical isomerism will be cis-trans isomerism. Cis isomer stands for if double bond is attached with 2 similar groups on the same side is known as cis isomer. If 2 similar groups are in the opposite direction is known as trans isomer. Always cis will be more strained one compared to trans molecule because 2 bulky groups are on the same side. which having repulsive forces, hence cis isomer always experiencing the strain. Whereas trans isomer, two similar or bulky groups are in the opposite orientation, hence we can say trans isomer will be more stable, less sterically hindered one, right? So this is about geometrical isomerism. In this geometrical isomerism, if we are having two similar groups, it is very simple to assign either cis or trans isomerism. But in the second case, if double bond is substituted by four different functional groups, if it is composed of four different functional groups, in that case, cis trans isomerism will not work. We have to go for another new method called EZ isomerism. What is the requirement of EZ isomerism? If carbon-carbon double bond is surrounded by four different functional groups. Now, we have to prefer the new kind of configuration assigning method called EZ isomerism. EZ isomerism is applicable to the compound where different functional groups are present around the olefinic double bond. Right. So according to this EZ nomenclature, E stands for entagagin and Z stands for Jusamen. Entagagin is almost similar to trans configuration. Z is almost similar to cis configuration, right? So entagagin is called a trans, Z is called Jusamen, which is the cis isomer, right? In order to give EZ isomerism, here the conditions are restricted rotation should be present. Means carbon-carbon double bond, and around this double bond, four different functional groups are present. So then only EZ nomenclature is applicable, right? Two different groups on one carbon and another two different groups on another carbon should be present. Okay. When we are going to assign priority, so we have to give the numbering to groups which are present on one carbon separately and groups present on second carbon separately. We are not able to club 1, 2, 3, 4 like this. So 1, 2 numbering for one of the carbon, 1, 2 numbering for second carbon is required. Okay, so this is the requirement. These are the conditions for EZ nomenclature, right? So let us see the simplest example for EZ nomenclature. When two bulky groups are in opposite direction here, iodo and chloro, these two are said to be bulky groups. Both the groups are opposite in direction. If bulky groups are opposite in direction, what we can say? It is said to be E configuration. E configuration nothing but trans arrangement. Both are in trans with respect to each other. When second condition, we are taking chloro and iodo on the same direction. When chloro iodo on the same direction, the conformation is said to be Z isomer. Z is nothing but cis, means two bulky groups are on the same side, same orientation, right? Now, let us see how can we assign which is higher priority group, which is lowest priority group. In order to assign numbering, here Kahn-Ingold-Prelog selection rules are provided to us. These priority rules or selection rules are guidelines for assigning EZ nomenclature consist of different postulates. First Kahn-Ingold-Prelog rule or CIP rule is atomic number will be considered. Highest atomic number will be given higher priority. If we have iodo, bromo, chloro, fluoro, iodo obviously higher atomic number compared to bromo, compared to chloro, fluoro. Hydrogen is of least atomic number, that is one only, right? So in that way, we can assign numbering to them based on their atomic number. The priority of those functional groups were given, right? So again, one more time, I'm requesting whenever you are joining the class, join with your roll number and the name. It is very easy to us to predict, right? So first CIP rule will be atomic number. Whenever higher atomic number is there, higher priority will be given to you. And second is about when all attached compounds, attached atoms are same. if attached atoms to the carbon-carbon double bond is same, we have to move next to that functional group. Again, we have to go with atomic number only, but that should be next to the atomic number of that first compound. Because let us see the example. If carbon-carbon double bond is surrounded by carbon, again carbon, again carbon, again carbon. In this case, it is not possible to predict which is one, which is two, because all are carbons only. In that case, we have to move to next level, move to next atom which is directly linked. So here, this carbon attached to chloro, this carbon attached to oxygen, this carbon attached to nitrogen, this carbon attached to carbon. Whenever we are considering second atom directly linked, highest atomic number, chloro obviously higher than oxygen, than nitrogen, than carbon. Hence, we can say chloro containing group will be getting high priority here. So this is about second postulate of Kern-Ingold-Prelog rule. And third is isotopes. Whenever we are taking isotopes of same atom, higher atomic mass isotope will be considered as a highest priority compared to lowest one. Okay, so different isotopes of same element when given, isotope of higher mass should be considered, because in isotopic forms atomic number will remain same. Hydrogen, deuterium, tritium, atomic number will be one only. But so in this case, in order to assign the priority, we have to go with their atomic mass. Tritium will be higher atomic mass than deuterium, than hydrogen. So in this way, in case of isotopes, atomic mass will be considered for assigning priority. Okay. And next is about double bond, triple bond, and single bonded compounds. Whenever double bond, single bond, triple bonded compounds were given, triple bond obviously get higher priority. This triple bond is considered as a three separate bonds. Double bond is considered as two separate bonds. Single bond is a least one. Okay, so triple bond get priority over double over single bond. This is about the order of double bond priority, right, ma'am? Yes, but what I am asking is, ask her to come with her roll number. That is only I'm saying. So because we have to follow the same format, we are facing problem whenever other persons are entering. That's why. That should be common to all. Right? In an organic compound, bond pair get priority over lone pair of atoms. Whenever bond pair is taken, so in that case, so please mute yours. Right? So whenever bond pair is taken, always bond pair is having higher priority when compared to lone pair of electrons, right? So this is another postulate in accordance with Kern-Ingold-Prelog. Atomic number will be considered to assign the numbering. Higher the atomic number, higher the priority. When two atoms are of same type, we have to move on to next atom directly linked. Again, we have to consider their atomic number only, right? So this is the second one. And whenever isotopes were taken, higher mass number will be preferred. When triple, double, and single bond is there, triple bond always give the priority. And lone pair, bond pair is there, bond pair always given higher priority here, right? So this is a representation. If two similar atoms of higher priority are on the same side, called Z isomer, two similar priority groups are in the opposite direction are said to be E isomers. E stands for trans, Z stands for cis. So let us assign numbering to them. Carbon-carbon double bond is there. So numbering to one carbon separate, second carbon separate should be given. Bromo, group number 1. Hydrogen will be group number 2, because bromo atomic number is more compared to hydrogen. That's why 1, 2 numbering will be given. Whenever chloro and methyl is there, directly linked atom is chlorine, directly linked atom is carbon. Obviously, chloro is 1, carbon is 2. So here 1,1 groups are in the opposite orientation, hence we can say it is of E isomer. And the second possibility, bromo-chloro. These two are the larger groups on the carbon-carbon double bond. Both are in the same direction. So this is the second, just we are taking, so another isomer of this one. If bromo-chloro are in the same direction, this is said to be Z isomer. When we are taking bromoiodo, fluorochloro, among bromoiodo, iodo will be first priority. Among fluorochloro, chloro will be first priority. Iodo, chloro, first priority groups in the same direction. It is a cis orientation. Hence, we can say it is of Z isomer. Whereas, just by taking reverse to this one, we will get E isomer. Iodo and chloro are in the opposite orientation. That is said to be E isomer. Right? So these are the possibilities in order to predict EZ isomerism in the given compound. These are purely based on Kahn, Ingold, Prolog rules. Right? So the next topic is about optical isomerism. Optical isomers are nothing but molecular formula remains same, structural formula also same, but one of the molecule can be superimposed on another, and the mirror images, they are mirror images to each other. Okay, optical isomerism is mainly arised due to change in their optical rotation value. Okay, so molecular formula remains same, structural formula remains same, but only the difference is their optical rotation will be different. One of the compound may have clockwise rotation, another molecule may have anti-clockwise rotation of a plane polarized light. Okay, so based on that nature only we can distinguish optical isomers. In order to explain optical isomers, here we have two types of optical isomers. One is called enantiomer, second is called diastereomer. Enantiomer is the substance. Enantio stands for opposite. Enantio stands for opposite. So mers are nothing but parts. So if any carbon having linkage of opposite orientation, opposite representation, those are said to be enantiomers. Both the enantiomers are in mirror image relationship, but both are non-identical because both are non-superimposable. We can't directly incline one of the isomer and another. So reinforcing is not possible. Instead, both are in the opposite orientation. Because of that reason, two isomers are in the enantiomeric relationship, right? They are two types. Enantiomers are of two types. One of the enantiomer will rotate plane polarized light towards right hand side. So if it is moving in right hand side, that is called clockwise rotation. If clockwise rotation of plane polarized light is there, the isomer is called dextrorotatory. When the isomer is rotating plane polarized light in the left hand direction, that is called levorotatory, and which is denoted with minus sign. Anti-clockwise rotation is denoted with minus sign. Here, you can observe the relation between D plus erythro, L minus erythros. Here are two isomers, D plus and L minus erythros were given. Aldehyde groups are there, CH2 OH groups are there, 4 carbon chain length will be there, 2 OH groups are in the right hand side called dextro, 2 OH groups are in the left hand side called levoisomer. And when we put a mirror, exact mirror images of one will be 2. Okay, so this is about the relation between D and L erythros. Both are of enantiomeric. Both are similar molecular formula, non-superimposable mirror images to each other. And next is about lactic acid. Whenever lactic acid was taken, OH group right side called D plus, OH group left side called L minus. Okay, so this is about the interrelation between two different enantiomers, mirror images, but when we take second molecule and put on the first one, mirror, what superimposability will not be there. where both are not inclining one with other. Now let us see what are the important characteristics of or specifications of enantiomers. What are the properties of enantiomers we will see. Enantiomers are having similar physical properties. Melting point, boiling point, density values are exactly same. Whenever enantiomers are taken, one of the isomer is moving in clockwise rotation, another isomer is moving anti-clockwise rotation when it is placed in plane polarized light. Their optical rotations are different. So this is the major cause in order to distinguish two enantiomeric isomers. Okay, even though physical properties are same, but plane polarized light rotation will be in the different direction. Chemical properties are same, but chiral molecule when taken again chemical properties also varies. This is only the exceptional case. Chiral compound is nothing but compound having 4 different functional groups around that is called a chiral one. Okay, if it is in clockwise rotation, plane polarized light is in clockwise rotation, or right hand side is known as dextro, anti-clockwise is known as levoisomer. And the separation method of enantiomer will be column chromatography. Chiral column chromatography will be employed. Okay, physiological properties of enantiomers are different. Means when ascorbic acid, vitamin C was taken, plus ascorbic acid having more immunity power when compared to minus ascorbic acid. So means their biological activities are different. Even though both are of same molecular formula, both are of same physical properties, but based on their orientation of the functional group, their properties, biological properties are varied. Minus nicotine and plus nicotine means levonicotine, dextronicotine were taken. So these are the alkaloid plant extracts, and minus nicotine is more poisonous when compared to plus nicotine, right? So enantiomers differ in their configuration. Their configuration is different. Okay, so if orientation is different, what happens? Their configuration is also different. So this is another property of enantiomers. One of the isomer having R configuration, another isomer may have S configuration. RS notations also present for the given compound. Okay, this is about enantiomers. Enantiomer stands for both the isomers are mirror images, but non-superimposable in nature. Non-superimposable mirror images are called enantiomers. Next is about diastereomers. Non-superimposable, non-mirror images are known as diastereomers. Right? Means both are not having mirror image relationship, and even both are not having superimposing relationship. In that case, we can say both are called diastereomers. Okay, here we discussed about D plus erythrose and L minus erythrose. Right, D plus erythrose, L minus erythrose were taken, but here what we are doing, uh, these 2,3,4 trihydroxybutanoldehyde called erythrose compound was taken, and being it is the 2 chiral carbon containing compound, 4 isomers are possible for this one. When 4 isomers are given, what happens? So these 2 isomers having mirror image relationship, and even these 2 isomers also having mirror image relationship. But when we take isomer 1 with 3, isomer 2 with 4, isomer 1 with 4, isomer 2 with 3. In this case, these are considered as non-superimposable, non-mirror images. So when we consider what isomer of 1 and isomer of 3, so there is no mirror image relationship, there is no superimposability. Hence 1 and 3 are known as non-superimposable, non-mirror images. These are said to be diastereomers. These are called diastereomers, right? So this is also another example where you can find NH2COOH, OH, CH3. It is the kind of amino acid. Amino acids are the starting material for the synthesis of proteins. when alpha amino acid with OH group is called 309. So this 309 is having one kind of configuration, like second carbon having S configuration, third carbon having R configuration. Whereas we are taking exact another orientation for this one. C double bond OH NH2 OH CH3 was taken. Second carbon having R configuration, third carbon having S configuration, because we entirely shifted their position. Their spatial arrangement will be varied. Hence, we can say these two are said to be diastereomeric pairs. Okay. And next is about specifications of diastereomers or properties of diastereomers. Diastereomers having different physical properties. Their physical properties are not exactly same. Diastereomers physical properties are entirely different and do not have same kind of overall shape. Their bond distance is also not exactly same. Bond distances are varied. So their exact shape is also not same, right? And they fit together in different ways and experience different intermolecular attractions, right? So because of bond distances are different, their intermolecular forces also not equal. So those are there is a deviation in their intermolecular forces of attractions, and the interatomic distance is also varied. That's the reason why diastereomers are easily separated from the mixture, even though they are present in the mixture. Because of their slight variation in the bond lengths, it is very easy to separate them, right? So rate of the reaction, one of the isomer will react in the faster rate, another isomer may react in the slower rate. That's why their chemical reactivity is not exactly same. Physical properties are different, bond lengths are different, orientation is different, and also their chemical properties are different. Melting, boiling, and density values for diastereomers also different. In order to separate diastereomers, we have to go for fractional distillation or fractional crystallization type of methods. And this is also another typical example for diastereomeric pair, right? Now, we are going to discuss about differences between enantiomers and diastereomers. Enantiomers are the chiral compounds, and even diastereomers also chiral compounds. Enantiomers are non-superimposable mirror images. Diastereomers are non-superimposable non-mirror images. Enantiomers are having DL kind of isomer. Dextro and levo isomers are present, and all physical chemical properties are exactly same. Hence, it is very difficult to separate them. Their melting, boiling point, density values are exactly same for enantiomers. Diastereomers are existing in different physical and chemical properties, and it is difficult. It is very convenient to separate diastereomeric pair. So chiral column chromatography employed for enantiomeric separation. Fractional distillation, fractional crystallization methods employed for diastereomeric pair separation. Enantiomers are chiral center is essential. Without chiral center, molecule is not optically active. In case of diastereomers, chiral center is not mandatory. It is not necessary. So without chiral center also, molecule becomes optically active. And optically active, compulsorily optically active in case of enantiomer. There may or may not be optically active in case of diastereomers. Enantiomers are of similar nature whenever they're treated with oxidizing agent, reducing agent, any substitution reagent, addition reagent. Their properties remains exactly same. In case of diastereomers, their chemical properties are entirely different. Rate of reaction also varied. So both are exactly mirror images in case of enantiomers. So non-mirror image relationship will be there in diastereomeric pair. DL lactic acids are the simplest examples for enantiomeric pair. So tartaric acid or erythrose triose compounds are the simplest example for diastereomeric pairs. Right? So this is about enantiomers and diastereomers. Both are the simplest examples for optical isomers. All these are the kind of stereoisomers only. Stereoisomers we classified into two types, geometrical isomers and optical isomers. Geometrical isomers are given as cis strands, which is also known as Z isomerism. Optical isomers are known as enantiomers and diastereomers. Now, let us see a typical example under this optical isomerism only. Whenever tartaric acid was taken, the tartaric acid, what kind of optical isomers are possible for this tartaric acid? We are going to discuss about optical isomers which are possible for this tartaric acid. So tartaric acid structure will be COOH, CHOH, CHOH, COOH. This is about the carbon skeletal structure. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4 carbons are there, and it is the kind of dicarboxylic acid. And in these 4 carbons, we have OH group are on the same direction. OH group are in the same direction. This is of one kind, and the second OH group is in the opposite direction. This is of another kind. And when we shift this OH group left side, this is of another isomer. And when we shift this OH mirror image of this one, this is another isomer. These 4 possible structures are given for tartaric acid. Tartaric acid is the dicarboxylic acid dihydroxy compound. So where are 4 possibilities we have? Even the 4 possibilities are there, but we can't consider all these 4 as 4 isomers, because in the first compound, whenever we put a plane, horizontal plane in this molecule, above half exactly reflected with below half, means it contains horizontal plane of symmetry. When we put imaginarily hypothetical line, above half exactly cuts below half, it is the kind of plane of symmetry. Even in the second compound also plane of symmetry will be observed, right? So these 2 compounds are having plane of symmetry. That's a reason why. So they are not optically active. These 2 are considered as a identical molecules. That's why both are meso compounds. Why these are called meso compounds? When this molecule placed in plane polarized light, above half is having clockwise rotation of 50 degrees, for example. Below half is having anti-clockwise rotation of 50 degrees. Okay, so that means plus 50 degrees given for above half, minus 50 degrees given for below half, for example. Then what happens? Entire optical activity of compound will become 0, because above half exactly compensate below half. Both are having different magnitude of optical rotation, and entire optical rotation will become 0. This is called internal compensation. This is known as internal compensation. Because of internal compensation, this tartaric acid becomes optically inactive, even though chiral center is there. But symmetry element is also present within the molecule. Hence, these 2 are not considered as 2 different isomers. Both are considered as only one isomer, right? So, and when we are taking the second possibility, where you can find opposite orientation of the functional groups. Opposite orientation of the functional groups, and it is when placed in plane polarized light, it will be optically active. You can't find any symmetry element in this. That's why these 2 isomers are considered as enantiomeric pair. And here you can find 2 isomers. Here, these 2 collectively called as only one isomer. That's why tartaric acid will give only 3 isomers instead of 4 isomers. In accordance with the 2 to the power n formula, 4 isomers should be given because we have 2 chiral centers. But first 2 isomers are said to be meso compounds because of internal compensation. Okay, so this is about optical isomerism which is observed in tartaric acid. Okay, only 3 isomers we can consider instead of 4 isomers, right? So by this, optical isomerism is completed